Good morning and welcome to volume number 61 of Coffee with the Tigg for June, I keep forgetting the date, 18th, 2018. There's the coffee. There you go. That's out of the way. High Bank got on my butt yesterday. Well, didn't get really on my butt that I didn't mention him yesterday, so here's his mention for today. Clean it out of the way, right out of the bag. I did a couple of hot laps yesterday, for a Assetto Corsa, and then one in R Factor. The Assetto Corsa was the Mazda 787B at I can't remember where we did that. Oh, it's at Riverside, of course. We do a lot of Riverside. It's a fun track. It's too bad it's not around anymore, but that's way, tracks are getting demolished left and right. This one's been demolished since the 80s, so, And the other one was Ford Spec Racers at Carolina Motorsports. I think that one's still around. Not sure. I haven't really looked it up to see if it was around for still around. Probably like MAM, Mid-America Motorplex, which is here in Iowa, just outside of Omaha. It's on our side of the border, but a lot of the sims say it's in Omaha. It's not. It's in Pacific Junction, Iowa. It's a little small town like the one I live in. Actually, it's just outside the town. There might be 500-600 people live in that town, and since it's a flat circuit, since it was built on a soybean field, it doesn't get a lot of usage. When Pontiac was around, they used it. They used to run weekend events and stuff like that there, but Pontiac's no longer around, so that don't get done. So I'm hoping that Carolina Motor Sports Park is still around, like MAM is still around there, but not being used anymore. The Spec Ford Racer was probably a little bit too small for that track. The car only hits about 103 mile an hour top speed, but it was a fun drive, trying to figure out how to get as much out of the car as possible. Of course, the Mazda was a handful at Riverside. I probably left more on the track than what I used up. It was kind of squirrely in the Can-Am curves, the two curves at the top of the track, which NASCAR had taken and made straight. But in the long courses, what we ran, that has another appendage where it runs down and then back up again. And at the top of the hills, both times the car got a little light, a little hard to handle. So I probably took those two turns a little slower than I should have, but I got it done. A while ago, I started following a guy named Jimmy Broadbent. I've added him to the featured channels here on my YouTube channel. It's a good guy to go watch, good guy to go learn from. He's from England, but he speaks English, thank God. So, if you want to learn a lot about sim racing, see what's out there other than, one or two sims, that's the guy to watch. He runs a lot of them. He does 2 or 3 videos a week. I think this is how he makes his money. I'm 90% sure this is how he makes his money on his YouTube channel, which is, really cool. That somebody could actually make money off of talking about sim racing. Lots going on this week, personally. Got things to do today, like in an hour. So I got to get this wrapped up and done, which, I'm only 4 minutes in. I like to leave you guys at least a 10-minute video. And then I have other things to do this week. So personal life is kind of busy. And I think I figured out why this looks gray. That sun, see how I just blocked that sun out and turned it color? I think that's what's doing it, making it turn gray. But it feels weird just sitting here like this because my arm's not actually sitting on anything. So that's what's turning this thing, that brownish grayscale, is the sunlight coming in that window. I could try to turn it more so it doesn't show up. And I'll figure this out. There you go. Now the sunlight's not coming in that window, it's coming in that window. So there you go. That's probably what's causing that. And it's sitting on my old tablet too, so I can probably push it back a little further so you can see my whole head, though. That's where the thinning is. So who wants to see my thinning hair? I don't. So there you go. The crusty old wheels here. And actually, in the video I just watched from Jimmy, he actually talked about his intro to sim racing. Was the video is from April. You can find it on his channel. You probably have to scroll way down because, like I said, he does 2 or 3, maybe 4 of these a week. It just happened to pop up on my featured stuff, so I took a peek at that real quick this morning. I was about 10 minutes long, and he actually does talk about the Momo being a decent wheel. Mine's 10 years old or older. I don't even remember when I bought this one. It may have been 2007, 2008, so it could be 11 years old. I don't remember when I bought it, so there's that. And like I said, I've got that other one, the Microsoft Sidewinder, on my computer in the back room, which I haven't even hooked up yet. I haven't even gotten that setup going yet since I've got this setup going. Excuse me. Coffee's coming back already. Nah, it doesn't come back. Coffee's good. That's why we have coffee with the Tigg. And again, I digress. I talk about a lot of things. Get over hot lapping. He talks about hot lapping in that video. It's the best way to learn how to drive a sim. We do a ton of it over at Synod. There's like 205 of them now listed across multiple sims. You don't have to have them all to do them all. There's a lot for everything. So if you're into learning how to drive, and this guy knows what he's talking about, obviously. Highbank even talks about him when we talk on the phone. Go over there, watch his videos, go over to Synod, sign up, just do the hot lapping. You don't have to be heavily involved in the main focus of the site, which is NR2K. We do Assetto Corsa, GTR2, Race 07, GTL, and R Factor. So those are the ones that we focus on. We don't do iRacing because you can't hot lap really in iRacing, and that's the high end. If you can get beyond the first couple of levels that they have there for you to get by the licenses, it's actually a pretty decent sim, but you got to spend a lot of money to get there. Buy tracks, buy content, and then the monthly subscription or yearly subscription, whatever it is. I noticed a lot of the Assetto Corsa newer mods are now payware, as they call it, where you have to pay for them. It's $6 or $7. I guess that's their way of making a little money on their hobby. I don't buy them. A lot of them are, to me, look like conversions, and I'm not dissing them in any way, shape, or form, but a lot of them look like they got the models out of R Factor. So there you go. The physics and the coding and all that stuff was probably handwritten. Well, not handwritten, but written for Assetto Corsa. So there's that. But there's still a ton of free content out there. The race department has a lot. There's a Assetto Corsa database, which has a ton. There's a few other sites. Those are the two, probably the main ones to go to. Then there's a classic track one, and a few other little ones floating around. I don't know, it's 5 or 6 of them. Yeah, there's a setup guide at race department you can read. Tracks, F3 classic tracks, Assetto Corsa mods. That's Sim Dream Department Development Home. Then there's the 2017, 2018 F1 mods that came out. It's a Russian site. It's it's kind of a bear to translate it because you have to translate every page. But if you want those mods, they're there. Steam, of course, and then the Assetto Corsa stuff. Their stuff that they release, which it all comes out in pay packs and stuff like that. So I guess paying is the way to go these days. Nothing's for free anymore. Anyway, one of these days I'll get around to giving a set of courses. I'll probably do a whole video of my opinion on a set of Corsa and go back in time, maybe do one for R Factor and some of the other sims that I have, just so you know that I'm not talking out my ass. Anyway, Mr. Tigg, smoke me a kipper. I'll be back for breakfast.